You see it in headlines all the time: the American THAAD versus the Russian S-400, two heavyweights constantly pitted against each other for the title of the world's best missile shield. But asking which one of these systems is better is the wrong question. It's like comparing a high-powered sniper rifle to a combat shotgun. They do entirely different jobs. Look at this decision tree breaking down modern aerial threats. The moment an incoming target is detected, it splits into two tactical zones: threats maneuvering in the atmosphere and threats plunging from space. Following the top path, ballistic threats like ICBMs strike from above the atmosphere. Stopping them requires specialized interceptors operating at extreme altitudes. Down on the bottom path, aerodynamic threats like fighter jets, drones, and cruise missiles maneuver within the air. Defending against these requires broad, versatile coverage that can track targets moving in multiple directions. To understand how different these tactical realities are, we must look at the speed, the radar capabilities, and the cost of both systems. This is THAAD, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. It is the United States' premier anti-ballistic missile system, designed for one highly specific role. Each truck-mounted launcher carries 8 missiles and can be rapidly repositioned on the battlefield to intercept targets in their final phase of flight. Over here is the Russian-built S-400 Triumf. Its origins trace back to a completely different need: creating a comprehensive anti-aircraft umbrella. To cast that wide net, an S-400 battalion relies on a heavy logistical footprint, packing multiple radar arrays, command vehicles, and different missile variants into a single mobile unit. The physical designs of these two systems perfectly reflect their opposite approaches to combat. THAAD relies on kinetic hit-to-kill technology against incoming warheads. Without explosives, the Airceptor uses pure physical momentum, smashing directly into the target to vaporize it. If we map this on a comparison matrix, you can see THAAD utilizes this kinetic impact method, intercepting targets at speeds exceeding Mach 8. While kinetic energy guarantees the destruction of heavy ballistic warheads, it requires absolute precision. That makes this method useless against erratic, low-flying targets that can dodge at the last second. THAAD's target profile is strictly ballistic. The S-400 uses explosive proximity-fused missiles. These travel faster, up to Mach 14 or 15, but they don't need a direct hit. They detonate near the target, creating a blast radius that shreds agile threats like fighter jets, drones, and cruise missiles. However, this wide net is less reliable for completely neutralizing massive ICBM warheads dropping from space. THAAD ensures a massive warhead is destroyed on impact, while the S-400 casts a wide enough net to catch highly maneuverable aircraft. Moving to their operational reach, this chart highlights their engagement zones. THAAD is built to intercept targets at extreme altitudes, reaching up to 150 kilometers into the exo-atmosphere. Smashing a nuclear or chemical warhead in space means the dangerous debris burns up before it reaches populated areas or friendly troops below. But this high minimum engagement altitude creates a severe blind spot. THAAD simply cannot shoot down a cruise missile hugging the terrain. The S-400 operates much closer to the ground, capped at an altitude of around 30 kilometers. However, its horizontal reach extends out to 400 kilometers, double the 200-kilometer range of THAAD. This sprawling horizontal range allows an S-400 battery to project a massive no-fly zone across vast borders, denying airspace to traditional aircraft long before they approach a target. THAAD builds a towering vertical roof. The S-400 builds a sprawling horizontal wall. Adding cost to the matrix reveals the financial divide. A single THAAD battery runs between $1 billion and $1.8 billion. That staggering price tag is driven largely by the AN/TPY-2 X-band radar. It is incredibly advanced, capable of tracking small warheads over 1,000 kilometers away and calculating their exact trajectories. The S-400 typically costs between $500 million and $1.25 billion. That price includes multiple missile types and radar arrays bundled into a single package. Because it packages everything together, the S-400 functions as a highly flexible, relatively self-sufficient system, capable of scanning and firing on its own. THAAD's intense specialization and high cost mean it cannot operate alone. It has to be tethered to secondary systems, like Patriot batteries, to protect its expensive radar from cheap drone swarms or low-altitude strikes. THAAD operates as an elite node in a much larger network, whereas the S-400 is designed to operate as a standalone fortress. To figure out which system a nation should actually buy, we can map them on this quadrant chart. We are plotting the threat altitude against the threat type. THAAD firmly occupies the top right quadrant, high-altitude, dedicated ballistic threats. Nations or military bases facing sustained ICBM threats, like U.S. forward deployments in the Middle East, require THAAD to act as a specialized, impenetrable roof. The S-400 spans the broad lower and left sections of the chart, covering mixed aerial threats at lower altitudes. Countries that need to deny massive volumes of airspace to jets, drones, and cruise missiles, like India securing its vast borders, require the S-400. Neither system is universally superior. Their value entirely depends on matching the specific hardware to the exact enemy profile you expect to face. In modern combat, relying on a single, isolated defense system is a fatal tactical error. THAAD is strictly integrated with naval Aegis platforms and ground-based interceptors to form a multi-layered shield that covers its low-altitude blind spots. Even the highly versatile S-400 operates best when supported by shorter-range point defense systems, preventing the primary batteries from being overwhelmed by cheap, concentrated drone swarms. The future of air defense relies on fusion. Data from military satellites, ground radars, and interceptors merge into a single comprehensive operational picture. THAAD is the ultimate specialized sniper. The S-400 is the ultimate versatile shotgun. The true strength of a missile shield isn't found on a spec sheet. It is determined by how seamlessly the hardware integrates into a nation's comprehensive defensive web.